chat there, kind of what the things we're going to be talking about today. Do appreciate all of you joining us. We're going to be touching base on our visual activities. You'll see that over the last couple of weeks, that information is being shared, kind of a Power BI. So Randall's going to show you where that's at, kind of give you a little bit of information. And then Randall and I are going to kind of go into a direction with entering and reporting litter and trash pickup. Kind of show you what we've been talking about. We'll have a formal email and video that hopefully will come out at the end of this week. But this is something that's really started getting traction of how we want to see those items reported. Then we're going to talk a little bit about our mowing map, some dead animal guidance as far as documentation, crossing midnight reminder again of how we assign crews to that. Some equipment, not lumping that in, making sure we're getting our equipment usage separated per our activities. Striping video, again, we got our striping crews are doing a lot of meetings this week, so Jess will be highlighting a few items about that, some assigning work. And then we've got a new demo. We want to try to save as much time as we can at the end on our development. We're rewriting all of documenting labor also. So we have a couple of things we want to share with you all, get your feedback. So that will definitely be kind of the highlight here at the end. It's not our intention to go past time, but we'll do the best we can. So with that, again, thank you for being with us today. Randall, will have you start off with the visual activities, and then you and I can kind of do a little tag team on that litter trash pickup.
All right, sounds good. Well, good morning, everybody. So, as Michael said, we've been asked to put together a visual or a Power BI for the visual activities that you all are doing right now. It's a big push this spring, and so we've done that. And that's in our Power BI SharePoint site. So I'm going to show you how to get there so you can go see those reports if you're interested. From the main page, if you click on the reports button, that's going to take you to this MMS Power BI reports SharePoint page. Most all of the reports that you all will be looking at are in this big button over here on the left. So when you click on that, it's going to take you to a Power BI. Depending on kind of what your title is and everything, you may see more or less Power BIs than what you see over here. But on the bottom, this visual activities, everybody should be able to see that. So if you click on visual activities, this is the report that we send to the exec team every 2 weeks. You'll see that this is stuff that's been documented in MMS. So this is in-house stuff only, and for those that document in MMS. You can select a date range if you want to change. Right now, we've got it basically set for the month of March. The activities, you can select through the different visual activities. It's got a chart that shows how many hours worked, the estimated cost, hours, and then comparing it to the last couple of years. So this year, or for the month of March, we've picked or worked on signs actually 22,000 hours. Last year, that same time frame, we did it 22,123, and you can see the rest of the other years. The other thing is over here on the left-hand corner, we have the number of call reports. So for that selected time frame, these are the number of call reports that came in for that activity. And so if you're interested in litter pickup, you just click the litter pickup button, and it's going to take you and show you all that same data for litter pickup. So once again, this is the exact Power BI that we send the exec team, and this is the data that they get. Any questions on this Power BI or any other Power BI for that matter, if you got something?
So Randall, if you're on one of those activities and you select a district, and maybe you did that, if you pick Northeast there, then you're going to see Northeast information. So again, we intentionally did not build this at the org level. It's an entire district's effort in these things, but that will give you a good awareness. What does it look like you're doing compared, right? So again, if you pick like the Southwest here, currently for this particular activity, litter pickup, they've did 6,400 hours. Well, then look at the 3 previous years, right? Or are you in that range? Are you given that kind of effort that has been done before? And so um, we'll see. We'll see how this moves along. I think we'll be adding a few things maybe as we go, and be aware. This is in-house labor, so please, all the districts that have contractors picking up litter, there is no such thing as entering contractor labor hours for picking up litter. So that's not there. This is all MoDOT in-house hours. So we're going to add a few kind of comments to make sure that that's clarified. Cost will have some of that contractor information in there. So we're going to do a few things to help clarify a few of those things. All right.
All right. We'll move on to some documenting here. So I've started documenting for litter pickup. I picked my location. You all are very familiar with this. When I click done, it's going to take us in here to the materials page. So we've talked about this before, and we've actually been working on it for quite a while, asking you all to enter other expenses for your trash bags, so we can kind of keep a count on your trash bags. So what that's brought up, and it's a little bit of a funny situation here. So I just did a quick search on all of the stuff that you all entered for other that contain bags. And you can see there's 35 different things. So we've got everything from misspelled stuff to funny stuff like trashy bags, everything else. And that's all fine, but it makes it very difficult to figure out how many actual bags you picked up. So what we've done is we've kind of pinned this down a little bit more specific on other expenses, and we've hopefully making it a little bit easier for you. So now if you go into other and you start typing in, if you type in trash, can't spell it either, it's going to bring up a group of selections here that we want you to choose from. We're going to remove this pounds of trash and bags of trash. That will be there. We're going to remove that shortly. But what we would like for you to do is select whichever one that is fitting. So if you had the incarcerated crew out picking up trash bags, what we would like for you to do is select the litter pickup incarcerated and then put the number of bags that they picked up, 165 bags. We've got a unit cost in there of a penny, so that way we can kind of keep track of how many that is. So if you enter litter, so different people phrase things differently, attack it differently. We tried to put multiple keywords in here so you would still get these same options. Or if you enter the word bags, those same options pick up. So hopefully we can use these instead of typing in your own. Just makes it easier for us to figure that out. It's the same thing with sweeping. So for sweeping, we entered a couple. We've got in-house for the pounds of debris, and we've got contractor for pounds of debris. So we can kind of keep track of how much sweeping's been done, and how many pounds we've picked up. So hopefully that makes it a little bit easier on you all to figure out what you need to, how you need to charge it out, and makes it a little easier on us for gathering those numbers. Michael, anything you want to add to that one?
Yeah, so Randall, if you go back to our list, if you'll type in litter, again, we're going to come out with an email, hopefully by the end of this week, and a video to highlight this for all of you. This is one of those things we really need you to help. Once you see that communication, make sure your crew leaders, everyone kind of understands. So litter pickup, everything will be bags of trash. In that email, there'll be guidance of if you hauled something off and you just know the pounds, you threw it somewhere and you just hauled it off to landfill, we're going to say a bag of trash weighs 20 pounds. Okay, that's what it is. If you haul off a pickup load of trash, a pickup load is 30 bags, heavy duties 50 bags, extra heavy duties 100 bags. So we'll make it as simple as possible, okay, to come back to everything as bags. Then you're going to step through these lists, and I think we're going to make a few edits on it. The very top one there says community service. That's going to serve for someone is having to serve community service. A judge has given that to a person to go take care of. That's going to be community service. Now, some of you might have some unique pieces of community service that you want to capture. That could be in some districts, there is a system called CASP. You could put that back over when you pick the locations. There is a document comments on locations. That could be a great place to capture that kind of information. We'll go back and Randall can show you that here in a second. But we believe community service is likely going to be everything about a judge sentencing someone to go do community service. Litter pickup in-house. That's your crews. That's MoDOT labor, physically picking up the trash, putting it in bags, throwing it in the back of the dump truck. That's us. Litter pickup contractor. For the most part, that's going to be handled through our district management group. When they get an invoice back from that contractor picking up trash, they're using that one. Litter pickup incarcerated. So again, those incarcerated personnel who come out, we have people with them. They're picking up bags, and then and that could handle a couple ways, right? You could have a MoDOT personnel with those incarcerated, and they're loading the bags themselves. Using incarcerated. You could have an incarcerated bag up a bunch of bags, put them up by the mile markers, and then a maintenance crew comes through and picks them up. Again, incarcerated. Who picked up the trash, right? I don't know if we'll keep the CASP or not. That's still something that we'll get some guidance to make sure. And then volunteers. Again, that is trying to capture that group of people that has said, hey, here in this area of Jeff City, we've got this effort on Saturday. We're going to go pick up a bunch of trash. Sometimes those things are they just kind of happen in our communities, right? We just have people who care so much. They pick up a bunch of trash. We want all this to be done right, but we're trying to make sure that we can have a way to separate those deals. Again, not trying to drive anyone way down the weeds today. We will come out with further communication. Send me an email if you have some questions. But again, I think it'll be cleared up with the email. I know we have Josh with us today. Josh, I don't know if you want to add anything else about this as we're trying to kind of make a process moving forward. Well, maybe I don't have Josh.
Yeah, no, I'm here, Michael. No,
Okay.
I think you guys covered it well. I think Randall went through the process. I think what we need to just focus on is after the email sent out, just again at the local maintenance building, just make sure that we do document correctly. So that's the main thing I'd have to say.
All right, thank you. So bags of trash, there'll be no pounds, none of that stuff. Everything's gonna be converted to bags. We'll give you guidance to convert. And then like Randall showed, sweeping can be pounds of debris. Randall, would you mind going back and showing on the location page the comment field? And then we can kind of go to our next subject.
Yep, sure.
So
go ahead.
No, go ahead, sir.
I would say here on the comment page, you've got the little comment box. If you just click on that comment box, it opens it up here, and it's free text. You can type in whatever you want. 165 bags, CASP, and then save it. You can upload a file if there's something there that you want to upload, and just save it. And then it goes, you'll see it on your summary page.
Yeah. There is one other one. There is the litter pickup Keeping Missouri Beautiful. That is the revision of our old Adopt a Highway system. Again, that very likely will be one of those choices. We just didn't get that in yesterday for that group. So again, all of this is tying into that direction, and we'll be sending out that information to you all. All right. And you'll get this from
This is
results.
Sheree. Oh, yes. I was just going to add that it is in results as well after it's been documented and accepted.
Perfect. And that's where you'll be able to see the information. Good deal. Okay. All right. Next thing there, we're going to hit mowing mapped. I think we have probably showed this once before already, but just want to show because we actually are getting a little bit of mowing going on. If you go to my area and you go out here on the left-hand side, there is an activities map. So if you click on that activities map and hit mowing, and then hit your current year, 2025. Okay. So I'm going to turn on the first cycle. And what this is going to do, this is going to pick up anything has been selected in this calendar year as mowing. So here in the Ozark building, you'll notice that, and this doesn't happen until you submit time to TRS. So if you haven't submitted all your time last week, you wouldn't be there, but you'll notice that they have already documented a section of 65 there in that blue for mowing. And so if you scan outside, go a little bit further, again, you'll kind of see these start showing up statewide, different places that have done a little mowing, some up here in Marshall, some around kind of the Kansas City area. And you can look at historically too. What this is again, it's per time you have selected that route. And so here was 2024. Anything green was picked more than four more times. And we basically will look at it if within a month. So there's so much data here that we basically are looking at per month. If you mowed on June the 5th and also on June the 20th, we would count that as still one cycle just to handle the data. So as we start out this year, again, we hope this is a way that we can kind of see how our mowing is progressing. What does it look like? It's obviously one of those things we get a lot of questions on. And so that's a good way I think anyone can go and look at it. But just beware, it doesn't show up in here until you've submitted your time to TRS. All right. Okay, dead animal. So I'm gonna go over back to where Randall was showing on the Power BIs. Again, encourage you guys utilize that information. Tell us the things that you maybe would want us to build another Power BI to help show information, but particularly looking at the dead animals. So this activity itself, you'll notice we only have 1 year's worth of previous data on. Before 2024, dead animals were all underneath litter pickup and obstructions in roadways, dead animals. And so in 2024, we created a brand new activity for that, 31D as in dog, and that's for all of our dead animals. So there's been a lot of effort, particularly discussions at the statewide level and the maintenance engineers of how do we manage this, driving our majors once, twice a week, intentionality of getting dead animals, getting large debris off the roadway and the roadside there. So this activity itself, when you look at the definition of it, again, it is us picking up and disposing of dead animals. Be aware, if you have that intentionality of going out and dealing with some animals like that, please make sure you've picked that as an activity. Maybe that's a call report, or again, appreciate the Northeast has really been making an effort that they're driving those kind of routes once or twice a week, and they're out there intentionally to pick up those dead animals. That's a good way to document to that. If you're also doing those activities and there's litter pickup, I mean, split your time, right? But there could be times, again, that you are in the process of doing an activity and there is a dead animal that you safely have pulled completely off the roadway and it's over in the grass and you can manage that, and you've done that. We're not saying that every little time you pick up something as you're going out to do something else, it has to be here. But when you're intentionally doing dead animals, please make your best. Pick that as an activity, pick your location, document what you did there. Always use the right TAs, please. It's just one of those things. Let's do everything right. But I will let you know, last meeting, Supervisor down in Mount Vernon brought up a great suggestion. Could we make the activity of dead animals something that employees could pick at the end of the day, and they would be automatically a lead? We are working towards that. That probably another couple months before we can get that. but we do intend on making that an ability, kind of like winter operations, that they could pick that activity and fill in their location. So it wouldn't be as challenging maybe for supervision to have to go back in and fill in the locations. So dead animals, again, those activities, please document those as best that you possibly can. All right, next item is a reminder from Randall. Talk a little bit about, I think, crossing midnight reminder about everyone.
Yeah, so crossing midnight, everybody's favorite topic. I don't really have a visual on this, but I just wanted to give a reminder because especially things like sign logs are coming up right now, and we've got more working crosses midnight than normal. And those are typically assigned, right? You assign a crew to go do that, a couple people. Make sure that you remember if a crew is assigned, 2 or 3 people are assigned to an activity and they're crossing midnight. If the leader crosses midnight, if one person crosses midnight, they all have to. And what I mean by that is you click the box and you document, say 7 p.m., 7 a.m., and you go through that process. If one person of that crew documents from 7 p.m. to midnight and then goes to the next day and documents from midnight to 7 a.m., that breaks that connection between all of them and causes you problems on your review and submit. So just keep in mind, you can do it either way. I recommend doing it crosses midnight like you're supposed to. But as long as one person does it, then they all have to do it. So stay consistent. Those people on that crew need to know, stay consistent. Everybody crosses midnight or nobody crosses midnight. Anything else on that one? Any questions?
Hey, Randall, I'd like to add something just real quick. We have some areas that have people that are on a night shift, especially in St. Louis area, that if they have the night shift indicator and that's what their shift is all the time, we need to be very careful with how we are assigning anyone else to them. You cannot have a mixed bag of shifts. Whenever you're doing any kind of assigning at all. That messes up the documenting work, it messes up everything. So keep in mind that if you have someone on a night shift indicator in TRS that you've gone through your financial services people, make sure that whoever you have assigned on there then to document everything through as a leader, that they have to be on that night shift indicator as well. So keep that in mind. You don't want to assign and have them all on the same crew because it will mess things up.
Yep. Thank you, Sherry. So I think you're up next if you want to keep going.
Yes. So I just want to share real quick, just as a reminder, whenever we're documenting work, and especially now that we are doing, signing and we've got some of these newer activities and for federalizing, the one thing that I had noticed whenever I was helping out some folks is that when they went to document their day, they just went ahead and documented on that first activity, as you see on my summary page here. They went ahead and they just documented their entire piece of equipment all to signing. They did not break that up, that how much did we do for signing and then how much did we do when we went out to pick up animal, dead animal pickup. We need to make sure that we remind all of our staff, and especially for those new employees that come on board and as our mentors are training them, that they remind them or show them that when you're documenting your activity, that you need to document the piece of equipment per the activity, because this really skews our numbers, that whenever we request financial reimbursement from the feds, that now we are indicating that we have this piece of equipment to this signing, that this isn't right. That it wasn't that many miles or hours just for signing. We need to keep that broken up. So every activity that you do, especially if it's federalized, we do not want to lump all of it together for our pieces of equipment. That goes also for materials and our for each location. We need to make sure that we're being specific for that. I know that during winter ops, a lot of times we'll say you can lump that all together if we need to play catch up or anything like that. Those are different situations than whenever we're requesting federal reimbursement dollars. So keep that in mind, and please pass that along to your staff and your new employees as you show them and teach them how to document their day in MMS. Any questions on that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sri. Appreciate that so much. So we're going to go next to Jess here. Jess, I would like, if you would, it's just going to be talking a little bit about striping, but also, if you wouldn't mind, Jess, if you could remind us a little bit about how our help desk phone works. I know we just recently you made some tweaks to that. If you wouldn't mind sharing that, please.
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, everybody. So we made some changes to the phone. So whenever you call the help desk, it's going to ring to my line first for about 8 seconds. And then after that, it will roll over to another line that will include all of everybody on the MMS team. So it's our MMS helpline. And then it'll ring for about, I think, 15 seconds. If there's still no answer after that, if none of us are available, it's going to direct it back to my line where you can choose to leave a voicemail. And then I will check that voicemail and get back to you as soon as we can. Or if you don't want to leave a voicemail, you're welcome to go ahead and email us too at the MMS team and send us what issue you're having, and we'll reach back to you that way as well. So it kind of just rolls like that. It goes from my line and then it goes over to the helpline that includes the whole MMS team. And if still no answer because we're not available, it'll roll back to my line where you do have the option of leaving a voicemail at that time. So that has been fixed and updated. Little updates on that. All right, so the next thing is we have a new striping video that I did. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. One of the big improvements of striping is that we've enabled our buildings to not have to go to the TMS maps. They don't have to get any special access anymore. They can just manage it all in MMS. The only person that has to report the PAs for the striping is the actual striping crew leader for that job, not the leader of the supporting building. So just remember, if you are a leader, but it's of a supporting building, you do not have to record the PAs. We only need your location. So what I was going to show you is there is a question here in documenting work. So I have an example of a Kansas City crew. We'll see they have their hours here, the 8 hours for striping. All looks good. So we'll go ahead and hit next. And then this will prompt you to pick the equipment, whichever they use that day, and then we'll hit next. Then it's going to bring us up a question that says, are you supposed to report performance actuals for this activity? We want to pay attention to this because, again, only the leader of the whole striping crew for the day picks yes, because then they are responsible for recording all those PAs. Again, if you are a leader, but you're of a support building, you will want to hit no, and then that will take you just to the maps and MMS here to record. Because we want to make it sure that we're reporting all these PAs. It's really, really important to get that. But just be aware, the only person that picks yes is the leader of the whole striping crew. Support buildings will just pick no, and then you won't even have to mess with the TMS maps at all. You'll just stay in MMS. So that's kind of some changes with that. Like I said, we do have a new video of that out on YouTube now. I will go ahead after this meeting today and get our banner on MMS updated with that link so you guys can kind of check it out and then let us know if you have any questions or issues. And that's what I have for striping, Michael.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for that.
Yep, you're welcome.
So I'm actually going off script here a little bit. Due to some kind of back on the litter pickup a little bit, there are particular forms dealing with keeping Missouri beautiful. This was an email that was sent out even earlier this week. Darren, our maintenance director for the state, kind of gathered those together. We're going to see if we can find a place on our main page. And this is something that kind of lean on Randall and Tommy to kind of help come up with some ideas here. We think we could do something up here that we might be able to get you a link. Those kind of forms are something that's necessary. They go through a little bit of a safety discussion as you talk to them, and making sure they fill out some forms there. So we'll see what we can do to kind of help with that. Again, getting to that information, they're available, and kick around some ideas. Again, I'm not sure that we will have it there all the time, but definitely now in the spring, that's kind of a heightened awareness for us. So we'll try to do some things to help out with that piece of information there. All right. So the next item I want to talk to there is about assigning our work. Again, just kind of giving you all an awareness about assigning work. This is something that we've spent some time over the last probably month or two working with our developers to come up with some ideas on assigning work. We have not started development yet on it, but we've kind of got a few things we believe we can add within the next couple months that could help with some of our assigning work, particularly the training alert parts. And then there's other parts of it we think we're going to have to wait till we just kind of rebuild the whole page. Okay. So as you see here, the Ozark building, as all of you guys have also done in your crews, you've came and you've done those things. You've had your meetings this morning. You've talked about what's the RBA. You've opened that RBA. You filled out that paperwork. Who's doing what role? What are those pieces? So we're trying to build upon that. Again, we want to see very similar. This is what I see the majority of buildings. Again, you got just like this litter pickup here at Ozark today, the equipment they took out, who's running those particular things. Some stuff we want to be probably more active about is so then who's the work zone coordinator for any activity, right? And a lot of activities are not going to have, but some of them really will. So we're diving down into potentially what does that look like? How do we tighten it up a little bit? Okay, but one of the particular items will be, if I hit edit here, is that if you do get an alert on an employee, again, brand new employees, frequently that was happening, right? They just come in and not everything's in engage yet. But we're going to have the ability that when someone does get flagged for a particular item, so if I came in here for this gentleman, I think if I give him the role of work zone coordinator, it should flag. He's not taking advanced work zone yet. So if you were to do this and you actually continued on with this, we're going to build the ability for that crew leader supervisor then to basically explain why would you assign someone that has a completed training for this, and it'll be a drop down list. The vast majority of the time we expect it's because the person just took the course and it has not been entered into movers yet. But we're going to move into that process. We want to be able to move into a way to distinguish the difference between an employee who is in training. So again, they've assigned them a backhoe, and you've taken the classroom, but you're in training for a while, or a motor grader, or flagger even. We're not sure exactly what that looks like. With all that being said, we're very mindful. How can this process of assigning work still be as efficient as possible? And that's really what's kind of made us think that some of these things we might want to do might have to really wait till we rebuild this page. So I do think in the near future, we're going to see some things we'll do here to tighten up a little bit on assigning work, but probably the full amount's going to have to wait till we get get that. So please be mindful of that. Let us know where you're having problems on assigning work. Send us an email. Let us know. Again, we tie in daily to your training records. That whole world is very much moving, right? So it's career ladders. We have a look at training. We look at training alerts here. A lot of information you're constantly seeing on those pieces. So please let us know. We really appreciate you guys asking those questions on that particular information. We have built some Power BIs for our district safety personnel to be able to go in here and kind of work through, well, what are these training alerts? So as a supervisor and a crew leader, you see it real time when you assign the work. There is a report in MMS that superintendents can run. I don't think any of them are doing it. Okay, maintenance engineers, I don't think they're over there doing it. But we built this so that we could see kind of what does that look like and how many alerts are we getting. So for instance, here's an example we looked at yesterday. This would be this entire winter since November 1st through basically today. How many people had gotten an alert for, let's look at just snow removal OJT, okay? It was assigned 3,700 times. In that amount, there's 3,700 times there was an alert given, but there was still 1,355 alerts that are still have not been completed. 425 employees who actively did winter operations at some point this winter still do not have an OJT. Again, maybe they're just to a point now you're turning it in. Classroom, right? Same thing, stay on that snow removal. There's 198. Some of these very easily are your supplemental, but it makes sense. Let's get this cleaned up. Let's get this taken care of. Winter's finished. What about an example like mowing, right? So if I step back to last year's, we started mowing in September all the way through now, and we look at gear for tractor mower. There's 258 employees who, again, actively were assigned a tractor. Okay, not the activity, but a tractor, but still did not have the classroom. Makes sense that that's something we get taken care of, right? We're in that season. So just be aware, we're trying to put all of this in a way that the safety group, our maintenance engineers, our district safety personnel can all see what in a report, basically a visual of what you're seeing already and be able to kind of tie all those things together with that. Now, that's what I've got. The piece that we're most excited about, we want to show you some new things with documenting labor. We will have some surveys, so we definitely want you guys' participation in that as we go along. Randall and I are going to try and demo this together. We just really appreciate how you guys were so involved last month on the review and submit. So hopefully we can get some good things here again on this part as we work through it. The documenting labor page is a lot. There's a lot on there. And so Randall is going to try and show you what it currently looks like for an employee and then some changes to the page. Now, how we're going about this. We don't want to change anything unless it absolutely makes sense. And what we think makes sense is it makes it easier on the employee. It makes it more intuitive on the employee. It fixes some of the frustrations we fought with for the last 5 years. But we're not just trying to change something to change something. We want to be very intentional because it is hard to get our brains to move to a different place and click something. So we have about 4 items that we want to go through and share with you all what that looks like. So Randall, we'll see if we can kind of start out here.
Okay. So
Okay.
this is I'll let you go ahead and talk through it, Michael.
On the left side, Randall, that's our current page, right?
Yes, sir. That's the old one. That's the way it is right now.
Perfect. So this is very much what you all are used to seeing. Notice that there's a start and end time boxes at the very top, right? And then there's add another box to the right, which many of you said, when in the world do we ever even use that? Okay, yeah, I get it, right? So what we've done, if you look at the one on the right, we, working with our developer, we have found that we believe to tighten up on some data, to make the information better and workflow better, we've moved away from the two fields that were select time, end time, and we're going to put them in the grid. Okay. So notice how they're already in that grid where it says 6 to 4:30. Very similar to your original page. After you hit calculate hours or something, they move down to that grid. We're just moving to not having them initially in the two boxes. So far in our demonstrations, this makes it better for crossing midnight. It makes it better for adding other times. We feel like this is just the right way for us to go. So if you was to come in here, Randall, how would you, in the new process in the grid, edit a time?
So in the new process, which is this window over here,
Mhm.
you're going to click the edit button, and it's going to allow you to type in the actual cells within that grid. To where in the old system, if you click edit, it moves the times up here to the start and end. This one, you're going to be able to just click and save inside this grid itself.
And but the editing on it is the exact same we do today, right? You can type in 6P, you
Yes.
can do, there's a drop down. The functionality within the cell is the same. It's just we moved it to in the grid, and we feel like that's just going to be a better place for us to be able to work out. Okay, so the page
So
still looks the same. Go ahead, Shrek.
I have a question. So if there is not a shift schedule, which we have that quite often, that there's no shift, what will it display then? Nothing?
It will do we set it up that if someone doesn't have shift schedule, it defaults to 7 to 3:30. And that's what anyone would get. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So
the same
that's
as it
a,
does currently. That's the same functionality as current.
and then, but they'll get a message that says no shift. Because right now, if there is no shift schedule, then the message will say no shift schedule.
Correct. You're right. When they try to go past the page, it'll say something like your shift schedule
Right.
doesn't match up with your TRS. That same message would come
Right.
up. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I created a schedule. So we're in development. So we're about 3 environments away from it ever getting to you guys out in the field. And I went ahead and set that shift schedule here so we didn't get that message. But yes, that message will be there.
We did this so that you could kind of see a left and right of the pages. Okay. Randall, if you just expanded the new view, it does look bigger, right? I mean, we get the font looks, you can do some things there to make it look bigger, right? So, because when the first thing I look at it, it's like, oh man, my eyes are struggling to see that. It just, when we're putting them side by side, it brings that in a little bit more. So anyway, we're looking at doing that. I think that's going to be a good deal for us. But I want to show you another new feature, and we're going to do a survey on this one. Okay, so if you'll go down the page, I want you to go to the very bottom of the documented hours. Okay, there's going to be a couple of things different about it. The first thing that you're going to notice is there's a new box that says location. Now, I'm going to give the thanks to our signal crews up in St. Louis. What this is going to do is, you all have known, if you type something in property damage, a K number, or you put in there, an intersection, something there, it moved to the banner as you go through the pages. Now, we can't demonstrate the next pages yet. That hasn't been all built, but we're going to use this location. It could be anything. Okay, the leader can put it in here, and they could say westbound 14. And then as they next through all the pages, it'll be up in the banner. That's what I'm documenting. This is a big deal for like multiple sign locations, multiple situations we deal with arterial management for signals. And you don't have to fix it, right? Now, today, I could put westbound 14 in the property damage, but we're not going to be able to successfully submit because we only take an approved K number today. So again, I just give all the credence to our St. Louis group on that one. We're going to ask you a survey question, what you guys think about that. If you're good with that, again, it's going to give that ownership to the leader. They can put something in there and helps them as they go through documenting. This is what I'm intentionally trying to document because I got multiple activities the same. So let the throw that survey out there. Appreciate you guys. Please vote. We'd love to see 100% of you all voting on that. If you like this, do you like the pop-up better than the check box?
Out of order.
Tommy,
That's okay.
question.
That's the next question.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody understands this location part doesn't really go anywhere. It's strictly for documenting. So it's not going to stay with you to results or anything like that. I don't believe it's just strictly putting it in the banner.
Yeah. So go ahead and hit X, close that question. We accidentally put the wrong question up there. We want the question, is this location cell a benefit in your documenting because you get to see intentionality as you go through your documentation. So see if we can get that pop up there. So while we're doing that, yes, my Mr. Burgess, Todd, question.
So the location spot, I like that spot. The only question I have and concern is, say I have an employee that's going out there putting in K numbers for property damage, and a week has gone by and I'm a week behind doing timesheets. If he doesn't have anything in that property damage, like say the location like he had before, it throws a red flag to me, knowing that hey, you got to go back in there and put your K number in. If he puts it in the location, it's not going to throw a red flag, and K number stuff might get missed.
Todd, I think it's a good point that you guys have to manage, right? I think when it's property damage, always put something in the property damage like you're saying. Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. Even
Yeah,
if you don't know
at
the
least
K
put
number.
something there.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yep. If he doesn't know the
Location
full property damage, just ask him just to simply put a K, and that will give you an alert because it won't take that in TRS. So you'll have to eventually come back and put that in. So yes.
And that's what we've been doing with the property damage. We've just been putting like the location, and that throws a red flag for the supervisor saying, hey, you need to go back in and put your information, put the K number in once it got populated.
Yep.
So, okay. But yeah, I do like the extra location spot. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What kind of survey results did we get?
Looks like 84% for it, Michael.
Fantastic. All right. 105 responses. We got a few more there. We get going. All right. Cool. I like it. All right. Next thing we want to highlight, Tommy, we're getting ready to go to the pop-up question next. All right. Tommy was out all day yesterday, guys. I appreciate he's jumping in and helping us today. But all right. Crossing Midnight's been a big deal. Again, we've done it for 5 years, but we're trying to find some things here. This is one of those things we've asked an untold amount of times of how to do it. We feel like we have found a way from some of your feedback that could benefit us in how we document for Crossing Midnight. And we're going to demonstrate a little bit of that. So what happens is you're going to make the ability in the selected times to enter a Crossing Midnight, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Because you put p.m. to a.m., it's automatically then going to come up with a pop-up that says which activity. Okay. There will no longer be a box at the bottom that you check. That box was being checked multiple times when it just by accident and shouldn't have been. So I'm going to let Randall kind of slowly step through what this looks like. Again, we don't have total functionality yet, but I think Randall can show you enough of how we're moving it from the documented hours, checking a box, to as you put in your time, it asking you.
Okay, so bear with me. Like I say, this is really new, and some things aren't working just exactly right, maybe. And I've only done it a few times, but I want to show you real quickly the old setup. You remember we would tell you add an activity, you wanted a clean activity, click the crosses midnight, and then put your times in, and it's going to prompt you through that. So the new way, notice, we get it zoomed in here a little bit for you. There is no crossing midnight box. You do not check that. So what you're going to do, so let's just take this and we'll just edit this time, and we'll make this a crosses midnight. So let's say we worked from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and then I save this time. It knows that crossed midnight. So it's going to ask, this is the pop-up Michael's talking about. Which one are you crossing midnight? So if you mess that up and that really wasn't supposed to be a crosses midnight, this is your first catch of, whoa, I didn't mean to cross midnight. And you can just close it and go back out. If you crossed midnight for that signing activity, you just check that box and click select activity, and it's going to make that a crosses midnight. However, let's say this was a 9:14 and you didn't cross with that one, but you hadn't put your activity down here yet. You can add an activity to cross with. So you say, no, I crossed with 9:13. Then you select that 9:13. This is the one I crossed midnight with. Select it, and it adds your row in there, highlights it, just like it always has. So that's the pop-up that he's talking about. No more clicking a box, adding the clean activity, clicking a box, putting in your times. If you put in a time that crosses midnight, it's going to prompt you to say, okay, what are you crossing midnight for? If you have multiple 9:13, so let's say you're 3 days in on a storm and you're working the night shifts every time, and you do another 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. or whatever, it won't allow you to pick the activity that's already been picked. So you'll only see the activity, the 9:13 that hasn't been chosen yet and hasn't crossed into another day. So it'll take care of that for you.
So what we'd like for you guys, we want to get your feedback on, do you like how we've moved it out of the documenting in the bottom where they went and hit a box to it's triggered off of the times the employee picked and will again be unique to an activity that has not been picked yet that's on there, whether it was assigned or the employee selects it themselves. So we'll shoot that survey question up there. Again, we really think this is listening to a lot of suggestions you guys gave us, trying to make this a little bit safer and better for our employees as they move through there. And so definitely want your feedback and helping us understand are we hitting the right thing. Awesome. Okay. Looks like we're getting some good numbers there, man. Fantastic. Thank you all so much. Well, we just know those are some big ones, right? If it's not crossing midnight, most challenging, it's property damage. Those are big ones of really just complexity in that. Okay, I've got 2 more items we want to highlight to you. Let's make sure I'm saying that right. Actually, I think I've got just 1 more item now. Yes, 1 more item we want to show. And then we'll stop and take as many questions as you guys have here. Okay, so let's now speak to our supervisors, crew leaders, assistants, those of you who do review and submit. Okay, so you're working on review and submitting, you're taking care of your crew, but you have, in this example here, we've got Mr. Miley that you're needing to make some fixes on. Something's missing. Maybe they didn't quite get something squared away correctly. Okay. And so what we've done is that for that supervisor, crew leader, assistant who's on review and submit, and they came into Brian Miley's page just like this, they now, instead of clicking and going back to review submit, they can click on change date, and they can stay on Brian's timesheet and just pick another day and go right into it and not have to go back and forth to review and submit. This is only for the reviewing process. Okay. Now, again, what we want to do a lot of times when you guys make fixes, right, you have to make sure you next through pages. So we've got more testing to make sure we do here. The intention is make it so you do not have to go back and forth constantly to review and submit. You can stay on that employee, pick a date, and then when you're ready, we'll give you the ability to go to review and submit. Okay, so we'll do a pop-up question on that. Again, supervisors, crew leaders, intention is just making that editing, updating information just simpler for you to be on an employee and use that change date in lieu of going to review and submit and back and forth so many times.
So Sheree, I don't know if you noticed, but whenever I went back to the last week, it brought in the banner, the warning about the schedule. So that is there.
Good. Good. I think this feature will help tremendously when we have those crossing midnights, when we get that message that says, either something is overlapped or something's, we need to look at the day before. That this will be a tremendous help. I feel just having that button to change the date to go to the day before, the day after, or, a different date.
Yeah, it really was all about speed, right? Because when you go back to the review and submit page, it has to load all the data for the entire crew and the equipment, materials, and everything.
Yep.
And sometimes you would have to do that 4, 5, 6 times for a person.
Right.
Now you don't have to do all that. So really, we think the speed is going to be much, much better.
Yep, that's awesome.
All right. Okay. I tell you what, I appreciate it. Those are some great responses there. The intention again, we want to make it as simple, wanted to make it so it's repetitive and easy to understand, fix some of the problems we have today. I will let you know, I mean, it very easily could be late this fall before we are able to move all this to production. I mean, we're very early in the testing and processing of this. So I know sometimes that's kind of frustrating. It's like, hey, you just showed me something. When's it going to happen? This is going to take a while because we will likely be putting out all new documenting work all at the same time. So again, if you're all patient with us, probably late 2025, and we'll know more over the next 4 to 5 months how that's going. But hey, to be safe, don't anticipate anything before Christmas, and I'd like hopefully we can be better than that. But let's see how this goes. All right. So let's do some questions. I know that Melanie, thank you for asking a question there in the chat. Melanie had asked one, probably when I was talking through the whole training documentation alert. She said, that she'll assign new employees and their quote trainer to the same TMA truck. It's a visual cue for me to know how the day went along. Is that okay? I think that's exactly fine. Particularly, you're going to get an alert probably, Melanie, right, on this employee doesn't have something. And I think that's what, again, we need to give those kind of reasons can explain what's going on there. So there is a difference in the operator versus operator in training. That's where we want to be able to get to, is that for you to be able to say the difference. I signed the veteran employee is the operator, but the new employee is just an employee in training and all they need is the classroom. So to your point, that's exactly where we're trying to get. Today, yes, you're probably getting that alert. I don't think there's any problem with that. You explain why that's going on there, but that's that very much exactly what you're saying is what we're trying to help distinguish the difference between a person who really is the operator versus someone who's being trained. And they need to be in those vehicles for a while, right? Absolutely. All right. So any questions you all have, we'll take anything. We talked about a lot of stuff today. Seemed like we went really fast. I feel like maybe I just set the wrong environment initially, guys. We want to know what you're thinking. Our intention is to always be in line with what you have going on. So we can stick around here. I know it's 9 o'clock, but we can stick around here and answer any questions as long as you need. We've had a great session so far. So how can we help? Any questions out there?
I have a question.
Yeah, go right ahead.
In regards to the screen that you have, if you have multiple groups, I work in signing.
Yes, sir.
And if I have multiple groups in signing, I might assign different K numbers.
Yes, sir.
Could I plug, as I assign that those groups, can I assign a K number? Or would you all provide a way to assign that K number to that group? So as they time get documents at the end of the day, they'll know exactly and to number those groups. Let's just say if I have 4 groups going out to do 4 different K numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I need those groups number 1, 2, 3, 4, the K number assigned to them, because at the end of the day, it's very confusing. Sometimes they go in there, they delete, and it just mess up my whole, I got to do that whole, and I'm glad you put that change date because I got to go in there, do that whole review and submit things. And you know how long that takes. So what I'm basically saying, I like the location y'all add, but when it comes to assigning those groups, different K numbers, it would be a whole lot easy to have them group, number, assign the K number, and pretty much, whereas once it's locked in, the crews can't do nothing to just knock everything out of order for that day.
Okay. Yeah. So Randall, I'm going to jump over to production here. You might find some things here to help me as I go along here. But if I go to, this is again, Ozark in production today, and usually the question you're having, if I'm going to assign this a group of people 223 today, just like you're saying, to help them out, go ahead and put that check mark right there and type something in here. If you want to say group 1, go with it. You have no, this right there will fill in on documenting.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you know the actual K number, you can type the actual K number right there, and then they never have to deal with it.
If they knew it, right? If you knew it was K25, you can go ahead and type that in.
Okay.
And it will follow through all the way to documenting today.
And then if I don't have the K number, I can put the location in. Okay.
Yeah. 135 and 65. Absolutely. If you know it.
Hey, Michael.
Because what Todd was saying a few minutes ago is that what he puts in here is that it will then trigger him so he cannot submit the day without an actual K number being in there. Mm-hmm. So he always likes having, besides that location that we showed, he likes having, K1 or, group 1 or something, because it's not going to allow you to submit. It's going to throw up that alert saying, hey, you need to put a K number in here. So crew leaders and supervisors won't submit by mistake and not get that number in there, but you'll also be able to free type whatever triggers you to know which group that is.
Okay.
Right. So,
okay. Thank you.
I'll jump over there and show you what that looks like in production here. These guys love me messing with their stuff in Ozark, right? But you can, and I think there's this balance of what you know at the time you assign, right? Versus life just happens. And we're always trying to figure out how we can kind of handle both. So there it is. My supervisor knew I needed to go address this K number. He assigned it. But then there's going to be other examples that you got your person coming in at the end of the day and they add a couple of activities themselves because they had to just do some more. So anyway, we're trying to hit both pieces. But yes, sir, you could do that right now today if that's helpful for you. Absolutely.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You bet.
Michael,
Yeah.
over on that assigning work, that location piece is what will be carried over to DW labor as well.
Yes, thank you. Justin's one of our developers, and if I go back to assigning work, I'd forgot that that's one of the things that we talked about is, let's go back down here to the assigning activity I just did. We're also going to use this location field that it would then fill in that new location field that Randall was highlighting in the new way. So let's say you don't know the K number. I'm not going to put it in here, but you do want them to know, you want them to work on the interchange 44 and 60. And this then would fill in that location field. Now, again, late 2025 when we get there, right? But we feel like that's another good way of communicating the differences between property, and you just want them to somehow know something unique. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate that reminder. Okay. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Thank you, sir. Okay, so Ricky asked, with non-maintenance folks being added into maintenance buildings for 913, has the glitch been taken care of submitting time on MMS that we had a week or two ago? Okay, so I know, Ricky, last week we moved a lot of stuff to production before last Friday. And, oh, hey, Tommy's already answered it. The answer is yes. And so, yeah, our rollout a week ago Friday had some issues with some new things we did. So one of the new things we have now is we've built it so that now superintendents can document their time in MMS. It's something we'll be speaking with our districts and doing more of that. We've had several who've been wanting to do that for a while, and we've had some already, but it wasn't working real well. And when we did that, we brought in some things that impacted some other buildings, and it was because of snowplow orgs, some things like that. But yeah, Ricky, they got that fixed last week, Tuesday, I think it was, got it fixed and all squared away. It impacted a few other things. Labor report was getting goofy. There were some other same things, but it all kind of had to do with those updates we were making to try and get more people in a place that they could use MMS as documenting. Yeah. Appreciate that, Rick. All right. Any other questions you guys have? Anything about any of the topics we've talked today, or just something else of interest and importance to you? All right. Well, hey, thank you all so much. Your overwhelming support of those changes are greatly appreciated. Had a lot of participation in those today. Let us know if you guys need anything. I know with the activities right now, several of you have dove into nighttime inspections with sign logs. That could bring in crossing midnight things, several of you have already started your bridge flushings. You're kind of getting that winter stuff finished up. We got spring meetings coming up very soon. Looking at those trainings, is everyone kind of finished off and they got those OJT for winter taken care of, getting ready for mowing? So anything we can do on any of those things, let us know. Our striping crews, I mean, they've got meetings all week. They're going to be hitting the scene real soon. Let us know if there's things we can do to help. Hey, you guys be careful. Take care. Be safe out there. Let us know how we can help. See ya.